20 minutes. All right. All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Kind of missed you guys yesterday. I had technical difficulties. I have no idea what happened. Every time I would sign on, it would kick me out. One time I actually got in, the show was running, but that's when I found out that I was frozen. I had no idea. So finally, it wouldn't let me back on. I did a short video to talk about what I wanted to talk about, and hopefully you had a chance to see that. But I'll touch on a few things from that today. Last night, the Knicks down 3-1, do or die. They showed up, jumped out to a big lead, set the stage for a big Pacers comeback, but this time it didn't happen. Big change that took place in this particular game. The Knicks actually slowed down. The Knicks actually continued to go to their bench. As much as they've been criticized of not going to their bench, they actually have been playing a little bit more bench players than the Pacers have. It's just that they weren't doing a whole lot. Well, they played pretty well overall last night, and they were able to extend the series to a 6th game. Now, Indiana, being that they're young, they played pretty well the first 2 games in New York, and they had played pretty well in the playoffs. But in general, this team doesn't play very well on the road. It's almost like night and day. And Nembhard and Neesmith completely disappeared. And I think the big thing is when the Knicks slow the ball down, these guys don't get out and run the way that they're normally used to doing, and that affects them. So they're going to have to start thinking that they can still win the series. Normally, when you have a big lead and somebody starts to chip away at it, you have to get yourself under composure before you start to panic and blow that lead. And this is the position Indiana finds themselves in. All the pressure is now on them, not the Knicks. Everybody's got them buried. When they're down 3-1, you win 3-2. So what? You're still in a bad hole. Well, Indiana, they're under a lot of pressure right now. All right. Fred Wright, how you doing, man? We can wait for some more to get in if you like. No, I don't get that many. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I just go ahead and say what I want to say. But I did see during that Frozen event yesterday, it looked like you sent me a super chat. I appreciate that, man. I don't normally get that kind of stuff. And if it ain't but 10 cents, I appreciate it. So thanks again for that, Fred Wright. Your Thunder is sitting around waiting. They dusted off the Timberwolves, and they're going to be sitting around for a week because the finals don't start until the 14th. I don't know how much that rust is going to affect them, but I still think that they're the best team, and they've been the best team, and I think they're going to showcase that in the finals because these two teams, to me, don't seem to be able to match up with them. But anytime you get into a championship battle or one-on-one, anything can happen. So what you did before may not have any reference to what may take place in the finals. JC, how you doing, man? Chris Bernard, how you doing, man? Yeah, Freddie Wright, they going all right. Joe, you about to say something crazy, so I'm going to avoid that one. What else we got here? But the Knicks last night, they played pretty well. And I think they got the psychological advantage now over Indiana. So Indiana's going to have to come up with some stupid stuff. Well, it doesn't matter, man. You're talking crazy, man. I don't want to hear all that. You keep talking like that, I'm going to throw you out of here. We got nothing else to do but to come in here and bother me. All right. So the question is, can New York erase a 3-1 deficit? And I'd like to know what you guys think about that. I think that, hey, man, appreciate it, man. But I think that the Knicks, they're in a good position to get to the finals. But the only thing about it is, do you really want to get to the finals? You got a team like OKC that's sitting there, these young guns. They've been playing good basketball for a while, and I wonder if New York want to get on that stage and get embarrassed. Um, do you view it as an embarrassment if you get swept in the finals? I don't know. I think what somebody needs to do is call those guys up from TCU. And if you remember TCU, they had they knocked off Michigan in the playoffs a couple years ago, and they found themselves in the championship game against Georgia. Not that they should have been intimidated by playing Georgia. Georgia was the defending champion, and they were playing championship caliber ball. But Georgia was also a college football team. They can get beat just like everybody else, but they had been more battle tested than what TCU was. And then you from a smaller conference like TCU, you don't feel like you get a lot of credit, and you know that you could compete, but you also don't expect to find yourself in the national championship. As much as they talk about it, something that happened there to keep us out. Well, things unfolded for them that year that allowed them to get to the championship game. And the downside of that is that they were actually in the championship game. So now you got to play. You got to hear all the talk. And you wake up in your reality, and then you show up at the game and you realize that you're overmatched. And when you get overmatched like that and you're mentally not up to the challenge, it's going to turn into a snowball real quick. And that's what happened to TCU. Well, the same thing possibly could happen to the Pacers and the Knicks. Neither one of these two teams, in my opinion, match up very well with OKC. Now, if they want to get out and run, that kind of favors Indiana to a certain point because that's the way they play. But at the same time, you open the floodgates for OKC to start running. And I don't think in the end, Indiana is going to be able to keep up with OKC. Now, on the flip side, all the offense is going through Brunson. Brunson is going to score his points, but he has to get everybody else involved. OKC is the kind of team that might let him shoot, let him score all his points, but take everybody else away. So even if you let Brunson score 50 and the rest of the team can't score no more than 25 or 30, I think you got a problem there. The math just don't add up. And the way Towns play, he can give you 30 points, but he also can give you 6 fouls and a half. He just make dumb fouls. Take last night, he was red hot. Then he come out in the second half, get 2 fouls in succession. They have to sit him down for about 10 minutes. And then he's not the same effective player when he does come back, all based on those silly fouls. Now, if this guy can get control of those fouls, he can stay on the floor longer. You don't have to go deep into your bench like they had to do last night. And you make it an easier, give yourself a better opportunity to win the game when he's on the floor. But you can count on him doing some dumb stuff. I've seen him do it, and I think he's going to continue to do it, and only because he don't think he's doing anything wrong. So long as he keep reaching out and bumping people and when he doesn't have to, and full view of everybody, and he complains about it. So that's going to hurt the Knicks. So you need to straighten that out. JC says if Indiana doesn't win Game 6, I feel New York will win Game 7 and go to the finals. Well, I think that is the case also because look like the Pacers, they'll fall apart in that Game 7 in front of that Garden crowd. What do you mean a smaller market, Fred? Are you talking about the TCU reference I made? Well, I don't think the market really matters in the NBA because they're all dealing with the same rules. Yeah, your city is in a smaller media market, but the media is going to descend upon wherever it is for the NBA finals. So I don't think that matters in the NBA. They used to say the same thing about football, but once they came up with the revenue sharing and all that went out the window. As long as you're in the league, you're in the same position as everybody else. So that doesn't really matter. All right, it's an embarrassment to get beat by a small market. I don't think so. Again, they're in the league. If they're in the league, I mean, I could see if you were an NBA team getting beat by a Big Ten team. Yeah, now that would be embarrassing. But the market, the size of the city doesn't matter in the NBA to me. I mean, the arenas, it's not like you're playing football stadiums when you're trying to fill up 60, 70,000 people. What's the average arena? 10, 12,000. That's plenty. So the size of the market doesn't mean anything. And people are fair weather. If they're living close to a team that makes the playoffs and they can get to the game, they're going to be there just to say, I went to the game. So it doesn't really matter. People are going to come if you have a winning product. But if you're a small market team and you're not winning, you're not going to draw very well. But at the same time, you still have revenue sharing in leagues. Take the Jaguars, for instance. I know NBA and NFL are two different systems, but in NFL's revenue sharing, if the Jaguars go 0-17 and don't draw at all, their profits or money goes into a pot along with the Super Bowl champion. They're drawing. All it goes into the same pot and they divide it all up. And how they normally do it around March, each team walks away with about a $300 million check or something like that, in addition to all the other stuff that they already made. So nobody's hurting at all, regardless of what market you're playing in. So, no, it's not the same money, but at the same time, right? Shea Gilgeous gonna make more than a lot of players playing in OKC. A lot more players playing in New York won't make the money Shea makes because he's in OKC. It doesn't matter because he's got a contract based on the league rules. They may not draw the same amount of fans that the Garden can get. They may not get the stars that the Garden would get, but that doesn't mean anything to them because the place is full. And when the place is full, TV is there, the money is there. So it doesn't matter what market that you're from. As long as you're in the league, you're in the league with everybody else. So my question is, will the Knicks erase that 3-1 deficit? Most of you are saying no. I think that the Knicks, whoever wins Game 6 is going to win the series. If Knicks go into Indiana, which they're very capable of doing, and they win that game, they're going to win the series. Then the problem is it's a matchup thing with OKC. How do you play? I think what they're going to have to do is try to slow the game down like what they did last night. Towns is not going to be able to just drive to the basket against OKC. So he's going to have to be more effective with the mid-range shot. But rarely do you see him taking mid-range shots. He's either trying to shoot a three or he's trying to take it to the hole. I think in that case, you have to follow the Jokic model. You have to take it to the hole and they cut him off, dish it to somebody else for a wide open shot. And they're pretty good about that, but it's just that Indiana can't stop them from getting to the hole. So why they don't just go to that all the time, I have no idea, which is another thing that bothers me about the finals with the Knicks. They're not the smartest team at times. When Brunson went out last night, you got a hot Towns. Instead of giving him the ball and let him work, they throwing it to the other side, shooting three-pointers. And every time they do that, they miss, and Indiana comes down and score, and they chip away at the lead. But the Knicks were on enough last night that every time they got within 11 or 12 points, they would come and hit a three-pointer or something to extend it back out. That doesn't always happen. So you got to be smarter, and the Knicks, a lot of times, they play dumb. All right. See what we got here. I don't know if I can join the chat or not. No, I can't. Or can I? Nope. I can't do it. All right. So we don't have a game tonight because OKC knocked them off. So we got to wait till Saturday for a Game 6. So I'll be eagerly sitting around waiting on that. The big news around here, no major NFL news except for people are talking about Travis Hunter. He got married last weekend, and he spent a lot of money doing it. I mean, that's what the guy wanted to do. He seemed to be ecstatic about the person he's chosen, but the people seem not to be happy about what he did, primarily because he didn't have a prenup, and I think that could come back to bite him in the end. I think most people are disappointed because they see right through the chick. She comes off to them as a gold digger, and he likes her far more than she likes him, and that's what they're upset about. Normally, I don't talk about these kind of things. Do what they want to do, but they just think it's a mistake to marry that girl without a prenup. And even if it wasn't her, any of these athletes that are making all these money, whether it's male or female, they need to protect themselves with a prenup agreement or some kind of agreement in place. But right now, he's exposed to everything that can happen to him, and I hope it doesn't happen to him because right now he seems to be in a position where he can be highly productive in the NFL, and he doesn't need to be sidetracked by personal issues. But it's out there now. People are talking about it. Of course, he's not paying any attention to it because he got what he wants, and I sincerely hope that it works out for him, that it don't stick him in the back. But you know these things, how they tend to work, and I just hope it don't happen to him. All right. Mike says, I think it'll be close, but New York has to come back against the Celtics, and Thibodeau is not using you spell the word wrong, but okay. Well, actually, Thibodeau's been using his bench a lot better lately. He's been trying to spare Brunson and a couple other guys, but the problem with the Knicks, like I said, is Towns. If you need him on the floor, he go out and make a couple of silly fouls in succession. Now you got to sit him on the bench for a long time. And because of that, you got to go into your second and third big guys. They had to do that last night. That guy named Precious. He had to come in. He actually gave him some good minutes. But you don't want to go to your third center if you don't have to. And that's what the Knicks ended up doing. And all started when Towns got into those silly foul trouble. It puts the bench into a bad situation. But they actually came through last night. But when you go to the finals against a team like OKC, that kind of mistake work against you. Brian Clifton say Hunter is a fool for that one. Yeah, he wasn't the brightest, but you know how young people are. They don't think like that. They think however they see it, that's the way it's going to be, and they don't see any pitfalls. They got tunnel vision, and he definitely has tunnel vision with this marriage. But that's his wife now, so that's a husband-wife thing now. All right, good morning. Okay, the Knicks want to drag the series. I don't think they're dragging it. I think the Knicks trying to win the series. And if the Knicks hadn't blown that first game, they'd be up 3-2 at the most. And I think New York is the better team. It's just that, you know, what I think about the Knicks, the way they're trying to survive is the way you should do. Just because you fall down 3-1, that's not a death sentence. Until the other team gets 4, they don't have 4. And a lot of these teams, once they get down 3-1, they say, oh man, we lost 3 games. There's no way in the world we're going to stop them from winning another game, so we might as well just quit. That's why I put the U-Haul outside the stadium for Minnesota. You see the way Minnesota played the other night? They come out like they're playing high school basketball or something, man. Anthony Edwards shooting air balls, and man, I don't know what that was I was watching. So the coach, he saw the same thing everybody else saw. So he told him at halftime, look here, you guys have to represent yourself better than what you're doing. They came out and tried to play a little bit better in the third quarter, but it just wasn't meant to be. So by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, they had to pull everybody in, and that was it, man. And when you look at the press conference from Anthony Edwards, he says he's not what he said, he's not embarrassed or he's not frustrated or something about it. He's citing his age. Well, there's some players on the bench that are older. They want to win now. So why not give it your all now? All right. Okay. Ryan says, I believe the Pacers are a better team. Well, I think the Pacers are a youthful team, and with youth, you never know what you're going to get. And I don't think that when the pressure gets on Indiana, it's going to affect them. And now you come in relaxed, and because you're relaxed, you don't quite play your best game. New York adjusts to it. You don't fully adjust. And now the pressure shifts to you now. You didn't have any pressure really going into game 5, but all the pressure is on you now. So how will you respond to that, Indiana? But while you worry about your mental state, you need to go figure out how to get Nembhard and Neesmith going. I don't know what Nimrod is doing. Look, I call him Nimrod because that's what he looked like sometimes when he's out there running around not doing nothing. Nimhard is his name. And 2 games in a row, he hadn't scored very many points. 2 games ago, he got like 3 points, and I think he got, 4 or 5 last night? That's not going to get it done when he's supposed to be a starter. I don't care what position you start at in the NBA. You're supposed to be one of the best 5 players on the team. You got to score more points than 4 or 5. It's the same theory where I was telling you guys about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray scored 1 or 2 points in the first half, and he's supposed to be the second scorer to Jokic. That's not good enough. And Towns, when you red hot, and Brunson go to the bench and you get 2 fouls, and now I got to pull you out too. That's not good enough. So these guys have to get more consistent, man. And with Nimhard and Neesmith struggling like that, then you can put more pressure on Siakam to reduce his effectiveness. Miles Turner, he comes and goes anyway. He's kind of like Murray. You might score 3-4 points in the first half, and you might end up with 14 and 15. It's not consistent, man, and it's almost like a broken record. And the team that is most consistent is the one that's going to win the championship. This is why I was telling you guys I felt OKC was the best team because they were more consistent. And after watching them even closer, I can see why they are more consistent. These other teams, I put it this way, and I end with this. It's what Bill Russell said about Jordan. And when Jordan was talking about John, what's the guy that hit the 3-pointer to beat Phoenix? He hit the shot, and he was pretty much telling Jordan that guy wouldn't have been in the league because you got so many teams out there that the talent is diluted throughout the league. Well, I feel the same way about some of these teams now. Some of these guys are in the league or starting because the pool is so thin that the truly elite players, they're not finding themselves on the same teams. So that brings in the inconsistency levels. And when these guys cannot be consistent, it fluctuates. And that kind of disputes what Aaron Gordon said about the rest between the games. Young as they are, playing every other day, I don't think that's too much. He said it will reduce the blowouts if they had more time between games. I don't think so. If you're going to be inconsistent, you're going to be inconsistent. I don't give a damn if you can play but once a week. Look at every other sport out there. Football is a great example. A lot of players play inconsistent. So the time off doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just that these players are just not answering the bell when they have to do it. And you cannot depend on what they might do in Game 7. I'm more inclined to think that you're not going to do it at all. But that's just my point. But anyway, Vinny says Knicks in 7. It's starting to look that way, Vinny. I'd be interested to see how it unfolds, but we have to wait until tomorrow to find out. One last check of the poll. Can the Knicks erase a 3-1 deficit? I'm starting to feel like they can. But it's all going to depend on how the Pacers come out in that first quarter. If the Knicks come out and take that crowd out of the game, you better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a Game 7. And I don't think the Pacers really want to go back to New York to face that. It's not going to be a good position for them. But anyway, I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. I hope you liked and subscribed. And appreciate that again, Fred Wright, for that super chat. Greatly appreciate it. And wherever you guys are in the world, unless there's breaking news later on today, I'll be back on in the morning sometime and we'll talk about what's going on in the sports world. Get you some football news. I think Pittsburgh is finally coming to their senses about Aaron Rodgers. Word now is he's talking about trying to re-sign with Green Bay so he can sign for one day and retire. If you knew you were going to retire, you should have told those people that a long time ago. But if that is the case, expect for Pittsburgh to make some news real soon by calling Atlanta and trying to get Kirk Cousins up there. A little younger than Rodgers, not as big a name, but if he can come down there and throw 4,000 yards in Pittsburgh and we can run the football, the Steelers going to make some noise, man. And I don't care about what Baltimore and everybody else is doing. Pittsburgh is going to win that division. And if you ain't careful, the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. You heard it here first. All right. So you guys have a great day. Until next time, I'm out. I got to go to work, man. Last day for us. No kids. I'm out. Yo, Brunson, man, Brunson's scoring over 30 a game. It's going to be hard to stop.